So, greetings everyone. I'm just setting up. I don't know who's here or not. Can't tell. Let's have a look. So I'm still making up the astrodoodle just for today, okay? So hang in, be patient. This is a very fleeting thing here. That's quite sweet over here.
blessing and your divine protection. With thanks and in full faith.
Which one's China? Oh, here it is. I got Alright, welcome. I can't really see who's here. There's only a couple people here, but thank you anyway. I really appreciate your company. So I'm just going to get on. Hello Jackie, I see you. Thanks for coming to visit. I'm just setting things up here. I just wanted to hang out for a while with folks. Welcome. It is Wednesday. What is it? The 23rd September 2020. I was just making an astrodoodle for the day. How are things up there for you, Jackie? What's it like over in Toronto right now? It's cooling down here in Las Vegas. It's just a Wednesday hangout. I was titling the show Earth plus Humanity equals Shifting. Okay? Today's title, Earth, it's like an equation, plus humanity equals shifting. I'm trying to pretend it's like a physics equation. Okay, so there we go. So I'll just share with you some of the little quirky things that popped up to my notice here. Just looking at world things. Actually, let me just say, it's gorgeous there. Oh, you lucky thing. It's not too bad here. Let me just check in with you. Just let you know I'm actually here. Hi, Jackie. Nice to see you. It's very quiet. It looks to me like there's no zero notifications going out for the channel anymore. So basically nobody knows it's here anymore from what I can tell. So I don't know what to do. I made a mistake perhaps with some of the technology. We'll see. So I don't know if you've noticed or felt it in your tummy recently, but there's a lot of stuff that's making me feel very, very unsettled inside. Hi, Jackie. It's not that I can't handle it, but I am very, very much aware of it. This theme, as you know, we've been talking about this for over a year now, but it's the same thing. It's the whole thing for 2020. It's global restructuring, and it's happening now. Oh, you did get a notification. Oh, that's great. Thanks, Jackie. I don't know really what's happening with the channel anymore. I don't know how to manage the channel anymore. It's kind of beyond, it's getting beyond some of my abilities. So anyway, I'm very glad that you're here. Thank you so much. So, as you know, I wrote that book about this stuff. I wrote a little book about this, Global Restructuring 2020. And it's, of course, all happening now. I'm staying over here in Las Vegas. And the last thing I remember from yesterday, before I went to sleep, was this video. Love Driver was playing this video, and it was all about these premonitions that these religious people were experiencing back in 2017, 2018, 2019, about what's happening here today. And that there were some very clear markers regarding the dates and the times of these certain events. And like, everybody brace yourself. Humanity, brace yourself, okay? And so, it's happening in all sorts of ways, biblical ways, locusts. What have we got? We've got massive locust outbreaks all over China. China is being devastated with its wheat crops up here, and all the grains and crops that they grow over here. Over here, China is in deep trouble with storms and flooding. I mean, over in the United States, we're used to having regular hurricane season, tornado season, flooding seasons, and that's normal for us. We're used to it. They're not quite so used to it over here. I'm going to show you some things about the astrology of China in a little bit. So, this year, 2020, it's a year of, the popular way to say it is biblical proportions. It's been building up for centuries, and now we're here. It affects the United States especially hard, in very profound ways, and it affects the whole planet Earth, because I'll show you the astrology in a minute, but it affects the whole of planet Earth. But we are being sort of like targeted, because the United States, in terms of its astrology, has a lot of trigger points that are being activated right now. I did that on another video several months ago, but maybe I could do something about that again. But for the time being, please understand that the United States is going through massive, convulsive, evolutionary shifts and changes on a monumental scale that's never really happened before in humanity. The shifts that are happening for humanity are on a global scale. It's most obvious in the United States because we have such a large profile across the world with news and economics, the way our economy, the way our behavior affects countries in the rest of the world. I'm sure a lot of you are aware now, having watched this channel, that America is going through the very last stages of its Pluto return, and it's going to soon be activated again around 2023 and 2024. So we have several years to go. Remember, the Pluto cycle is almost 250 years, so it's like a ticking clock that moves very slowly. And we're at the, if you were looking at a clock, it would be 4 minutes or 3 minutes until noon, okay? That's sort of how it would look, if you can picture that in your brain. And typically what happens when people, human beings, we're aware of it, when we reach these points of critical mass, we tend to feel it in our bodies. I'm particularly sensitive to lunar cycles, so I pay attention to the lunar cycles. But all of the planets have their own cycles, their own influences. I think of it as just gravity. It's just simple, good old-fashioned gravity. The laws of physics and all of that stuff. So right now, the United States, with its astrological profile, is being heavily impacted by the planets out there right now at this moment in time. So I'm just going to go to a chart for today, so you'll see, for example, okay, this is a little Lumination astrodoodle for the day. Now this is a generic one for planet Earth. I'll just mark that on here. So this is like a sort of a generic look at things. But it's like the same sacred geometry applies to everyone, depending on what degree your ascendant might be, what is your sun sign, what is your moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, whatever your alignments might be. They are all being affected by this particular alignment of planets that exist in the skies, in the heavens right now. So some of you might be familiar with this if you've watched the channel. I'll go through the basics again. First of all, let's start with the sun. The sun just entered Libra over here. It's been hovering over the cusp from Virgo to Libra very recently. The moon right now, today is over in Sagittarius here, okay, in the 9th house, okay. Mercury is in Libra. It's a little bit far away from the sun, but it's over here. Mercury's in Libra. Sun, Moon, Mercury. Venus is over here in Leo. Mars is in Aries. Jupiter is in Capricorn. Saturn is in Capricorn. Uranus is in Taurus. Neptune is in Pisces, and Pluto is in Capricorn. So I just listed all the planets depending on how far out you go into the solar system. But as you can see, you have to go, okay. Thanks, Jackie. Okay, we'll catch up soon. Thank you very much. I'm just going to keep the show going, for the people who are here who might be interested. Thanks for hanging out, people. If you're new to this channel, you've never done this kind of thing before, help yourselves, just hang out. You could introduce yourself on the screen if you like, or chat amongst yourselves. Thank you, Jackie. Enjoy your beautiful day in Toronto. So, watching the Terra Illumination channel over a long period of time, you've noticed I've talked about this cluster of planets up here for years. We've been building up to it for years, and now we're actually living in it right now. And this is a historical alignment. To have this degree of concentration of power in one sector, with Saturn and Pluto and Jupiter so tightly close to each other, it's basically triggering massive evolutionary shifts and changes all over planet Earth for humanity itself. I think of them as the reality check police working in combination. There's the good cop, the bad cop, and then there's the let's just say the military, the SWAT teams. They don't really all that Pluto carry. I mean, each planet here has a different agenda. Pluto just turned direct, so a lot of people are feeling like there is this sense of optimism. On the other hand, Saturn is still retrograde, Pluto is still retrograde, Uranus is still retrograde, and Mars just turned retrograde. So there's a lot of churning and grinding. It's like pulverizing energy to squeeze out anything and everything that is obsolete and redundant to humanity in terms of what is healthy. Right now, you could think of all these planets here, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, as doing everybody a favor. The thing is, for a lot of people, a lot of countries, a lot of economies, a lot of governments, a lot of federal and central banks, it's very, very, very painful because, especially in the United States, we have allowed the United States to become, let's say, heavily corrupted and degraded since the United States was born 250 years ago, roughly, in 1776, okay? So here we are, about 250 years later, we are at a point of a Pluto return for the United States. So we are feeling this massive, slow, kind of increasing, grinding pressure here on Earth, and especially in the United States, because we have very strong alignments in our own profile with Capricorn, Cancer, okay? So it's very important to understand that. So for today, for example, this is very basic sacred geometry here. we have this hyper-stressful alignment between Mars and Mercury, okay? They're opposing each other. If you think of Mercury as the planet of day-to-day commerce, exchanging of money, doing business, sending, receiving money, sending and receiving messages, texts, internet, not internet, but more like just general communications, like, Twitter, Facebook, all that social media stuff. Over here, it's in Libra. So Mercury in Libra is about having smooth, comfortable relationships, but it's heavily opposed by Mars retrograde in Aries. So, for example, right now, if you've probably heard about it, these huge social apps called TikTok and WeChat are under tremendous pressure right now to conform with honesty, truth, reality. Okay? So, for example, the United States has tried to shut down WeChat and TikTok, but they've started to actually work out a deal, like a compromise. So it's still going to exist, but it's under tremendous pressure to be, let's say, less corrupt, because you might have heard that WeChat and TikTok were basically spy machines for China. Now, it's interesting because America, that's the China chart. Let me look at the American chart for a minute. I want to show you something about the United States here. The United States has its North Node in Leo. Okay? The United States has its North Node in Leo. Right now, the United States North Node is being heavily lit up by Venus in Leo. So you could say that Venus in Leo right now today is sitting right on top of the North Node of America. Okay? And today in particular, we have a very powerful yod here. There's some people call this the finger of God. It's a very fateful, very fated alignment. It's when you have a powerful sextile like this between Capricorn and Pisces, and it's faced off by a quincunx here, okay, on Venus. So the energy of the finger of God kind of points this way, and what it's saying, the message is, this will change very soon, but the message is for everybody on Earth. Consider your most Leo self and be that way. Venus is in Leo right now, so it's a sweet alignment for the United States. This is sitting on top of the American North Node. So it's basically telling America, the pressure is on America. Dear America, be your most shiny, regal, magnanimous, kind, generous self. All the good stuff that everybody knows and likes about America. And let's be honest, start to openly admit that there's a ton of junk that's not good about what's happening in America right now. Let's be honest here. Let's be truthful here. Like leadership. Let's look at it this way. Okay, let me try to illustrate it this way. Okay, if you think of leadership, really good leaders are honest. They're truthful. They say it how it is. They come from the heart. They admit that things are hard when things are hard. And they rally people round when things are tough. They lead by example. They don't lead by pointing and abusing and whip cracking and commanding and controlling. You lead by example. So America is being pushed really to kind of lead by example right now, to be its most glorious itself, the way the rest of the world knows America, the good side of America. Tragically for America, as we come to the end of a Pluto cycle, all the corruption, the degradation, the perversions, the abuse that America has basically reached to this point in its own evolution. Remember, it's just one revolution old now. We are seeing in real life in front of us. Oh, hi, Path. Esther and you are watching. Hi, Path. So, thanks for joining us. So, America is under a lot of spotlights right now. It's impossible for America to hide or cover up all the problems that are happening over here. So, because it just leaks out everywhere. Everywhere else on planet Earth is aware that America is really, really shaking up. It's really, really kind of crumbling down. There's a lot of infrastructure in America, things like our banking systems, our government systems, our legal systems, our healthcare systems, our financial systems, our economy, our governance. Okay, think of the federal government, the Federal Reserve, and all the massive corporations, especially the big ones. Right now, Amazon has a market capitalization of $1.5 trillion. Okay? It's freaking mind-boggling. Amazon, the economy of Amazon is bigger than lots of little tiny countries. Way bigger than lots of countries around the world. Anyway, I was drifting off. So, I just wanted to point out that the United States is going through a lot of convulsions. The title of my show today, what was it? Earth plus humanity. Earth, I can't even remember the title of the show that I created. Hold on. Earth plus humanity equals shifting. So that's what's happening right now. It is happening on a global scale, like the whole of planet Earth is convulsing right now, sometimes in very shocking, vivid, obvious ways, with Uranus and Taurus, all the insane things that are happening with climate right now. Insane fires all over America, hurricanes, tornadoes, and flooding all over America. And over here in China, there's devastating of their wheat crops and all of their grain crops over here, from droughts and locusts. Over here, extreme flooding that's destroying the lives of tens of millions of people. I mean, we have problems over here for sure. We're used to it, but they operate on a much bigger scale because they have like almost 1.5 billion people. So just last night, a huge dam broke in China. It's not the Three Gorges Dam, it's another dam, but it broke and it's just causing more devastation. So many crop losses, animal losses, a lot of the pig farms and everything, because they eat a lot of pork. That's their protein. A lot of them are being devastated. There's a lot of devastation going on in China right now. And they're being extremely violent and belligerent. Like, the worse it gets in China, the more ugly they behave. So that is going to be my little segue to something else that I want to show you now. So give me a second here. Okay, so this is the chart just for today. But what I'm noticing, I've been doing homework, basically for the rest of the month. For a lot of October, we're still going to have a lot of problems with this energy here, this kind of big, loose energy. Because Mars is going to retrograde all the way through October. This is going to sit where it is. And we're going to have planets moving through Libra. The Sun is going to be moving through Libra here for all of the October Libra season. Mercury is already there. It's going to pass on. Venus will be entering fairly soon. And then the Moon will be coming around fairly soon. So, as the Sun gets closer and closer to opposition with Mars, things are going to become more volatile, more violent. Okay, the energy of Libra, the whole idea of having harmonious relationships, is being heavily contested by Mars and Aries, which is basically in retrograde, going belligerent. So what I'm seeing right now, and you can see it in the news, is violence. Violent outbreaks, okay? Especially in the United States, because we in the United States are heavily affected by this big fat T-square. And it's all about relationships, hostility in relationships. Well-meaning energies in relationships met by hostile resistance. I saw a video the other day of men and women smashing each other out in the streets with baseball bats over in Las Vegas, okay? And it's happening all over America. Extreme violence is building up. There was a post that came up. I can't remember who sent it, but they said, start arming yourself now. Prepare now, America. Start arming yourself. So I can tell you for a fact that in America, it's very hard for a lot of Americans now to buy ammunition for their guns because it's already sold out. There are gun sales in the United States have exploded dramatically, and the ammunition manufacturers can't keep up. So anyway, on that other video that Love Triber played to me, there's a lot of sense of buildup of violence. I see this as a very violent aspect that's being triggered here. So I think that's going to show up in the marketplaces, like in the stock markets. It's going to show up in politics, government, finance, banking. I think of it also as currency wars. The pressure is going to build up in terms of hostilities between the major countries. For example, China, well, basically United States, China, the Euro, the Japan, and the British pound. Those are the big 5 major currencies where the most impact is felt on global finance. Okay? So we're building up to a currency war right now. In other words, a war. This is very much a warlike aspect over here in order to try and, people who are trying to protect their businesses, their corporations, their countries, their power, they are being squeezed into positions of combat. In other words, there are people, for example, and I'm one of them, there are people who are sick of the degradation, the abuse, and the corruption that happens at the highest levels of government over here in America. In other words, the Federal Reserve and the federal government. And it's the same thing over here. The Chinese population is getting sick of the CCP. The CCP considers that it is China. China operates as though it is the Communist China Party, okay? And it has an astrology chart, just like America, okay? So I'm going to bring that up in a little bit and show you some things that I'm studying, things that I'm learning, and I can share with you. So it's like, we've talked about this in other shows, but it's like things are kind of like separating into these 2 big camps. Friends of America and friends of China. And which side do you want to be on? There's a lot of people in America who want everything to turn into Chinerica. They are in love with the power of a totalitarian dictatorship in Washington, controlled by extreme left-wing agendas that operate very similar to communism. That would be very, very handy for places like Google and Facebook, which are basically totalitarian monopolies, okay? And so Google and Facebook are going to do everything they can, legally speaking, to try and steer the election in the United States towards a Democratic win. And so the people who are in power right now, the right-wing conservatives, Republicans, they're going to do everything that they can to stay in power because they have an agenda which is very different from the left wing. In the United States right now, everything is so polarized, it doesn't really function anymore like a government the way it was designed and intended according to our Constitution. What we have is basically this stagnation of 2 warring parties that are both determined to foster and nurture and push their agenda forward at the expense of the country. The right wing is just as abusive as the left wing to get their agenda, but it's a different story. Either way, that combat is going to increase. I think over October we're going to see a lot of hostility, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see armed gatherings triggered by political agendas. And then when we get into November, the election is the election is going to be very, let's say, destabilizing. Okay, it kind of it's kind of inevitable. I think everybody's kind of aware of it in that. So in other words, if the Republicans win, then the left wings are going to go berserk, absolutely berserk, far more than ever before. If the Democrats win, then the right wing Republican types are going to go absolutely berserk. Okay, we're building up to like a massive like a fireworks display of discontent. Depending on either way, it's going to be discontent, whichever side that you're on. Okay, so that's what's happening in America. We've talked about that before. I want to go into a few things in just a moment here, but then I'm going to go over to here about China in a minute. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let me go over here. Okay, so we talked about this. These are the notes for today. I'll just keep that handy for reference. But I want to bring up a couple of things that stuck to me recently. In the United States, as you know, our financial system is imploding. The dollar is collapsing. It's a very slow. It's happening like a glacier. But at some point, you know how glaciers work. They, how they shed. Glaciers shed ice. It moves very, very, very slowly, and you can't really see it. You can't see the shedding until it happens, and you don't even notice it. And then 1 minute, a huge iceberg falls off the end of a glacier. That's what's happening in the United States right now with the federal government and the Federal Reserve. It's moving at the speed of a glacier, and it is in the process of shedding. There's going to be massive shedding, shifting, implosions in the United States as our structures crumble in front of us. So the similar things are happening. I mean, okay, I'm good. Here's the note I wanted to put down here. We are already starting to see bank runs in China. Okay, the reason that's happening, a bank run is when the public, we the people, them the people in China, lose faith, lose trust in their financial institutions. They lose trust in their government. And that's a big, big problem in China right now. There are hundreds of millions of people in China who are sick of the CCP, and they're terrified of what the CCP is doing to the Chinese people, especially financially and socially and politically, and in terms of privacy and violence and corruption. In China, the public have no rights. You don't have any privacy, you don't have any rights. The Chinese government and the police do whatever they want. If you don't comply to their social score, then you can be disappeared. So what's happening right now, it's kind of spreading. Some of the bigger cities, they're starting to have major bank runs in China, where people are standing outside the door in lines trying to get their cash out of the bank. And then the banks are saying, well, I'm sorry, we actually, we don't have it, So what's happening is, because the whole banking system in China is incredibly corrupt, and the government is highly, let's say, abusive and corrupt, the storyline from the government, from the CCP, is that it's the customer's fault. China is basically saying, listen, dear people of China, dear China population, the problem that you're having with a run on the bank is because you're the customers and you're running on the bank. So if you stop running on the bank, we won't have a problem. So the CCP is basically blaming the people for running on the bank. The people wouldn't be running on the bank if there wasn't any corruption, okay? But it's so corrupt, it's so bad. Chinese population are starting to get really scared about their own finances. It's a very similar parallel story to what's happening in the United States. I'm going to go to the Libra-Aries axis because it's very significant with China. I'll show that to you in a minute. Over here in South China, a major dam just collapsed, threatening millions of people. And there's new rounds of major flooding. Highways are collapsing. So this has been an ongoing story, but it's continuing. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. So let me go to this thing here. The Libra-Aries axis. It's a highly stressed axis right now, and it hits China very, very hard. So you know I've talked about how the United States has to deal with this axis over here. Okay? Well, China right now is dealing with this axis over here, corporations. So you can see that in the major global news headlines and global finances. This aspect here, watch this. Is sitting on here. I don't know if I can do it. I don't think I've got the brain power to do it. Well, maybe I do. So this is a map. This is an astrology chart of China. I just finished making it, and I'm going to use this as a reference point. China, I'm using the data as China's birthday is the 1st of October 1949. This is when the Chinese Communist Party took over China from the previous Chinese Communist Party and created a new country fashioned after the Chinese Communist Party. Deng Xiaoping, I think his name was at that time. And now we have Xi Jinping, who is the new boss, and he's taking it to the next level. So however ugly it was back in 1st of October 1949, it's getting more extreme now. So if you look at this chart, China is born with the Sun in Libra, Mercury in Libra, Neptune in Libra. They're all very, very tight together. Okay, Neptune dissolves the solar energy. Neptune dissolves the mercurial energy. The Sun lights all this stuff up. So it's a really powerful alignment up here in Libra. So if you also look, their Sun is heavily afflicted, okay, by Uranus in Cancer. Uranus is heavily conflicted to Mercury, its Sun, and Neptune, okay? So right now, Uranus is in a very volatile condition. Over here, the Libra energy of China's Sun, Mercury, and Neptune is heavily squared to Jupiter in Capricorn. All right? This is its birth chart. So as you can see, China is born with what some people would call a very afflicted sun sign. In other words, the way I look at it is that there's a lot of lying, because Neptune is involved here. The energy of deception, lies, betrayal, deceit, sickness, and basically fraud is very much built into the Chinese identity, the way I look at it. Okay? So the Sun and Mercury and Neptune are very close together, and it's heavily squared here, heavily squared here. So this energy right now, which is just starting to light up, watch this. And this might sound a little bit complicated, but right now, the Sun, okay, our Sun here, let's see if I can do this. Our Sun, for everybody on Earth, just entered the sign of Libra, and it's going to be here for roughly a month, okay? Mercury is in Libra right now, okay? It's heavily opposed by Mars. So for the next month, going through the Libra season, I don't know if you can see this, there's going to be a lot of violent conflict, okay, inside China. China with China. China at war with itself. Chinese Communist Party at war with its own people. Its own people at war with the Chinese Communist Party. And it's heavily pressured by this angle over here. So if you look at this triangle here, the big red triangle, and imagine that imposed on top of this, it would lie here, okay? That triangle, that red triangle would lie here and over to here. So guess what? The way I look at it, October is going to be a really ugly month for China. It's great to have the Sun transiting your sun sign. It's like birthday season for China, but it's so heavily opposed by Mars in Aries. Or maybe if I put the chart like this, maybe this will make more sense. If I put Aquarius on the horizon here. So this thing lines up with this thing. I hope that makes sense. So it's very, very stressful. And for China, all this Capricorn stuff here lives in their 12th house. This is the house of self-undoing. This is the house where all of the supposedly good intentions of the Chinese Communist Party is essentially self-serving, but what they're actually doing is harming themselves. This is a lot of self-harm. And so what I see here, I mean, I'm kind of validating my opinions because of what I see about China and what I've studied about China and how China affects the world and how we affect China. Because China is affecting, their behavior affects the whole world now, just like the behavior of America affects the whole world. We can't get out of it. But if you look at this chart, if I didn't know that this was a chart of China and this was a chart of a person, I would look at this, and if it was a blind reading, I would be saying, you know what? I see a lot of power here, but I see abuse of power. Okay? If you think of the sun as the most dominant energy in a chart, I mean, none of this would be happening without the sun. So I'm factoring the sun as a very dominant energy in the chart of China. Hello, Michelle, I see you. I'm just having a tarot illumination rant about things that are a little bit different from tarot reading, but I have to get them out of my system, so I do. Okay, hold on. So, I already see a lot of problems with China simply from their chart. It's a heavily conflicted Sun, heavily conflicted Mercury, heavily conflicted Neptune, all by these very significant planets, Jupiter and Uranus, okay? So it looks like a constant, never-ending shock and instability and the desire for control. So it sounds really benevolent because look what happens here. China is born with a very strong harmony between the moon and the sun. It's very nice for people, a human being, if all your astrology was just based on the sun and the moon, it's very nice to have the sun and the moon in harmony. And China has that. So there are a lot of amazing qualities of China, the Chinese and the Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party is incredibly effective at creating its so-called agenda for the people of China, the People's Republic of China. Think of Aquarius as the energy of the public, the people. The moon represents the mass and the subconscious self. So my feeling is that China actually means well. The Chinese Communist Party has a very, very, let's say, perverted impression of what they think is good for the people and good for themselves. The problem is it's based on a fundamentally very corrupt and fraudulent, abusive kind of bigger nature. If you just look at the sun and the moon, if we just had a chart of the sun and the moon, you would think, oh, this person is very harmonious. This country is very harmonious. But as soon as you look into the rest of the planets, oh my God, you see it's a real freaking mess. Okay, they are very powerful. Look at this. This is what really concerns me probably more than anything. China is born with Pluto in Leo conjunct Mars in Leo. So that if, without being offensive, this is the energy of a lot of power, a lot of highly condensed power. But look at this. It's heavily conflicted by Venus in Scorpio. Okay? Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio does not appreciate being in disharmony and conflict with itself. So, and it has Venus in Scorpio. It's a very intense placement for Venus. It's kind of an all or nothing, black or white type of energy in terms of love and relationships. So what I see here, if I look at this chart and I just gazed at it, glanced at it, had to look at it and had to talk with somebody anonymously as a blind reading, I would say this is the chart of a highly abusive person. A serious abuse of power, okay? All under the guise and pretense of doing you a favor. Like, I'm really, really nice. I'm full of harmony and love. I want what's best for the people. I have the sun in Libra. I want harmony. I want peace. And that's one of the most important agendas for the Chinese Communist Party. They're always telling the world and their people, we want peace and harmony for the public, okay? And fine, but live by example. The reality is they're using extreme violent abuse of power to try and create peace and harmony. You can't create peace and harmony by instigating and deliberately being hyper abusive. Here's an example. I'll try to illustrate this in a more simple manner. Here's an example. Pretend I'm this guy, and to the rest of the world I look really, really great. And I have a partner over here, like a business partner or a wife or a girlfriend or something like that. And let's just say I'm devastatingly handsome, and the partner, let's say it's a girl, is devastatingly gorgeous and beautiful. And, we're presenting ourselves to this world as this couple, like, hi. We're this beautiful thing. We want peace and harmony for our land. I am King TL. This is my beautiful Queen TL over here. And we want everything to be just right for you, the people. All you have to do is do whatever I say. It's really, really simple. And then we won't have a problem. Do you see where the problem lies? That's the energy of a communist dictatorship. That's the energy of a highly abusive dictator. Okay? So let's just say King Terra Illumination goes home with gorgeous wife, Queen Terra Illumination. And he looks at his gorgeous spouse and says, you know what? You didn't look cute enough today. You didn't obey my commands to dress this way and look that way when I was on stage doing this and that. I'm sorry I had to punch you, but you didn't listen to what I said. You have to understand, I love you so much. I really love you so much, but don't make me look bad. I'll just have to frickin' hit you again. Okay? All right, now everybody's happy. That's the kind of energy that I see in this chart. I see it as the chart of extreme abuse without any apologies. By the abuser on the abusee. So what I see in China is the classic kind of characteristics of an abusive father figure who abuses his partner and his people while he's telling everybody, I'm doing this as a favor for you. Look at everything that I've done for you. I've grown the economy. You all have cars now. You've got smartphones and you've got apartments. But it's all done in a very, very highly abusive, corrupt way. China's wealth, a lot of it is based on theft. You call it a kleptocracy, a rulership by theft. They've had a lot of, let's say, theft that has been condoned and... hold on. Bubba's here. Bubba, you want to be on camera? You want to say hi to everybody? Stay there, right? Give me a second. Hi, Bubba. Come and say hello to everybody. There you are. Here's Bubba. Bubba just wanted to say hi. He was feeling a bit lonely and left out. He just needed a cuddle. There's Bubba. We're just having a little hangout. So, Bubba, you're now world famous. Yeah. This is Bubba, the adorable cat. He likes to be where the action is. He wants to go now. Okay. So, anyway. So, I've talked about these themes before. So, again, going back to relationships, look at the Mars. Sorry, let me go back to that chart. Look at the Mars opposing... The Mars in Aries retrograde opposing the coming Sun and Mercury in Libra right now. So that's an extremely abusive aspect that we're seeing. It's a really nasty T-square. It's a perfect setup for anyone or anything, like any country or any person who has not evolved enough to own their power, own their strength, to become. It's very easy to become abusive. So we're seeing that all over the world. People are just literally blowing up. Their fuses are blowing, popping, and they're going berserk. And then basically anyone or anything that they don't like, they're just going whack. Sorry, you pissed me off. So that's what's happening over in China. China's Communist Party is becoming very, very unstable. And the more unstable it becomes, the more angry and the more aggressive it becomes. Have you ever noticed that, for example? Like when a bully is out there and they're all shiny and bright and everybody says, oh yeah, you're freaking awesome. I'll do whatever you say. So long as you keep giving me whatever that's to shut me up, my candy or whatever. But when it goes too far, when an abuser is called out, typically, because this happens a lot when you have, I don't know if you've seen this in your life or your friends or families or relationships, but I've seen it, in when I do personal readings here for Tarot Illumination, Tarot and Astrology. When an abuser is called out, or when an abuser is basically challenged, or you're facing off the abuser, they can become much more hostile. They can go from here to here in terms of hostility, because abusers do not like being called out or being held accountable for their abuse. But what's happening right now is America is being called out by we the people. American Federal Reserve, the American federal government, is being called out by we the people. We the people in America are basically sick of the way we're being treated by the Federal Reserve and the federal government. And a very similar story is happening over here in China. Them, the people, are starting to doubt and fear. Well, they're already living in terror of their own government. It's a single communist totalitarian dictatorship that they have over here. So there's 1.3 billion people sick of their government. We've got 330 million. We're getting pissed off with our government. So anyway, there's a lot of volatility and a lot of aggro. A lot of aggro going on. It's like this. A lot of bullying and thuggery and violence. I don't know if you've noticed, but China has become very much more aggressive in this part of the world. It's literally becoming violent and aggressive. It's flexing its military muscles, showing off with all its bullets and guns and new fancy jets and airplanes, all built on technology that they stole from here and here. They don't apologize for it. It gives them, they don't have to spend trillions of dollars on research and development like we do. They wait till we've done all the work, then they steal it, and then they copycat over here. It's the same thing that they do with handbags, t-shirts, watches, all that kind of stuff. So it's, all they have to do is, reinterpret the instructions, how to build an aircraft carrier, how to build a computer, how to build artificial intelligence, how to build cars, all of that. All they have to do is steal the software and the diagrams and the physics and the whatever, and then build it. And a lot of countries in the world are in collusion with China because there's such a vast market over here. For example, as you know, Google and Facebook want to be China. They want to be like China. They're doing everything they can to be best friends with China because they want everybody in America to behave as under the totalitarian control of Google and Facebook. Google and Facebook are monopolies. They are totally unaccountable. They don't answer to anybody or anything. They do whatever they want because they can. And some of you might have noticed they sometimes abuse their power. I've been on the receiving end of that, and I don't like it. Not much I can do, though. So, let me go over here. Right now, the way I look at it, I'm just giving you my Tarot Illumination notes for the day. This is what's going on today. There's a lot of pressure on America to be its most glorious, creative, expressive self, on the understanding there's a lot of bad stuff happening in America. We still have to, let's say, be regal. We still have to, let's say, maintain our integrity, our leadership, our honor, our kindness, our generosity, our creativity, our light. All of these things that are typically associated with Leo energy. And we have to do it in kind, warm, caring ways that's good for the relationship between the American government and its own people. And you extend that storyline, America has to be a shining beacon of light and hope for the rest of the planet. Because if you've probably noticed, if America collapses, then there's going to be huge problems for a lot of other countries across the world. And some of it's not going to be pretty. So at this moment in time, we've got this thing here sitting on top of planet Earth. And it's affecting China in a very obvious way. This, for the next month over here, this part of Chinese identity, its solar self, is going to be heavily lit up. It's like the birth season for China. And it's heavily opposed by a transiting Mars in Aries right now. So what I see for China is increasing violence, hostility, and warlike behavior. And at the same time, China will pretend like, well, I'm doing you a favor. Because everybody needs to understand the whole world is going to come under the control of the Chinese Communist Party. So you better start getting used to it now. And if you don't get used to it, we're going to beat you up. We're going to shoot you and kill you if we don't like you. Because we can. They might look shiny and amazing from the outside with a strong sun-moon harmony, but everything else is kind of a mess. Over here, with the Pluto and Mars in the 7th house in Leo, that looks to me like an extreme abuse of power. Okay? Venus is transiting this part of the heavens right now. Venus is right here transiting the Chinese Pluto and Mars. So Venus is about relationships. So what I'm seeing is that China is becoming much more abusive in its relationship with its people and with its relationship with the rest of the world. And because it's so conflicted, this would be the energy of, for example, like a house or a family that lives, okay, I'll go back to this again. Let's say we're all a big family, and I am the Chinese Communist Party leader, and I am really powerful, and I can do all sorts of cool things, kind of like a criminal mafia drug lord, and I figured out ways to steal lots of stuff and money and do business, do lots of bribery and corruption so that I can do business all over the world, and I have a very large family, and I take care of them by saying, every one of you gets this, every one of you gets that, and if you don't like it, if you want to fight me, I will beat you up. Now, how would you like to live in a family like that? How would you like to be born and raised and live in a family where you have this very powerful, capable father figure who does a tremendous job outside of the home and the family, doing tons of business, stealing, making lots of money. But when you go home at night after a day at school or a day at work and you're all at home, and you realize that your wonderful father out there is in fact a violent abuser at home, literally a violent abuser, then it isn't quite so pretty. So what's happening is the sparkly shine is coming off of China. The sparkly shine is coming off of America. Same world, same planet, different countries, different charts, different profiles, all living under the existing moment of sacred geometry right now. What I've been trying to tell friends and family is that October is going to be extremely volatile. You can see it in the stock markets, gold and silver prices, economics, politics. There's a lot of what I would say violent instability. I'm also seeing signs of what is called a currency war. Right now we have a so-called Cold War. We have a trade war going on with China. But my personal feeling is that it's going to escalate. And the war, like for example, the American government is doing everything it can to resource all its manufacturing back into America instead of giving it all the way to China. And every time the United States devalues its dollar further and further and further to stay viable as an economy, as an exporting economy, what we're doing is every time we devalue our dollar over here in order to fight China, we're making life miserable for the rest of this world. So they are all forced to have to start devaluing their own currencies to stay competitive in the global marketplace. So what's happening right now, because the two largest economies, here and here, are now, I think, personally, are going to start entering into, instead of a currency war like this, like that, or like, it's going to start to go like this. The Mars in Aries contrasting with the Sun in Libra series field that we're going through in the next month or so. I think it's going to get really ugly. It's going to show up in the global financial markets, the global politics, and eventually I think it's going to reach a crescendo. Eventually we're going to get into the Scorpio season and the election season. So they're going to be seeing different shifts in energy then. I'm not going to go into that right now, but we're building up to it. We're already, as of today or yesterday, we're already in Libra season. So please allow for the possibility that the Libra season can be very volatile. Even though Libra typically you would think of it as calm, sweet, caring, considerate. You want peace and harmony in relationships, okay? They say they want peace and harmony. America says that, China says that, but what's actually happening is poof, poof, poof. Libra is a very strong sign when it has to be, okay? It doesn't like getting, ruffled. It doesn't like getting disturbed in its peace and harmony. It likes diplomacy. It likes to work things out with diplomacy, pens and words and diplomacy and agreements and coming to harmonious agreements rather than shooting guns and bullets and killing people. Mars likes to kill. Like, I have a problem with you. If I don't like you, that's it. Problem solved. That's Mars. Venus is just the opposite. Hey, let's get along. Okay? So we're gonna be having a lot of face-offs in Mars. It's gonna show up in all sorts of ways in the news, okay? So I just wanted to get that across. And let me go over here a second. So I'm going to use this chart again. Sorry, I didn't go to the other stage. Give me a second. Okay, I'll probably end up using this chart again. This is the birth chart of China. I'm using it as a reference point for today, but it's like a permanent reference point unless or until the Chinese Communist Party is dissolved, and then who knows what happens. As you know, I also have a little chart for the United States of America, but I don't really want to get into that on this particular video. This is my little astrodoodle for America. It looks completely different, of course, and the birthday is 4th of July, 1776. So as you know, earlier I talked about the Pluto return. So you see this as a reference point. The United States was born with Pluto in Capricorn at 27 degrees in the second house of big money. Okay? Pluto in the second house by definition means big money. So it either means huge gains or huge losses. Massive, massive exponential gains or massive devastating losses. It's built into the DNA of America. And so that's normal in America. All that energy over here in America is opposed by all this Cancerian energy, the Cancer-Capricorn axis. So America has a very caring kind of personality and a nature. And it has a very generous nature. Jupiter in Cancer is very generous. Mercury in Cancer, very close here. So a lot of business is based around the home. Day-to-day business, commerce, and trade is based around the home. So if you look at it, let's turn this into a solar chart, just like magic. Look at this. If you put Cancer on the horizon, we have this really, really strong sense of identity about caring, sharing and caring, okay? But it's heavily opposed by this powerful Pluto in Capricorn. So this is the energy of creativity. There's the sun, the creative self, the like from birth, the idea of being birthed into something caring, nurturing, very domestic, very defensive, very protective. As you know, the American economy is very built on consumers and the mortgages and homes. The idea of building and owning a home is fundamental to American business, and we are extremely innovative in that manner. We do everything that we can to make our home lives as amazing as possible, and then we share that with the rest of the world. But Pluto in Capricorn is constantly demanding the destruction of anything and everything that is obsolete. Okay? And so you have this energy of creative destruction happening all the time in America. And we foster that energy. The whole idea of let's build something new, and sometimes to be successful and to work, we have to destroy anything and everything that's obsolete. So we have that in America. New businesses are constantly being formed that disrupt and destroy old businesses. A really good example for a way to think of it. Here's a good example. Has everybody heard of Blockbuster? In America, Blockbuster was king. It was the king of DVDs and videos for years and years all across America. That's how people selectively choose their entertainment. CDs and videos from Blockbuster. You would go to a shop and you would rent these DVDs, and videos, mostly DVDs, and you'd go home and play it on your big screen TV with a DVD player. And then guess what? Netflix came around. Okay? Americans are still consuming movies and TV on an astronomical scale. But through the process of creative destruction, Netflix came along because they had a better idea. It's much cheaper and much less infrastructure, more profitable, much bigger menu, and it works. Netflix destroyed Blockbuster. Okay? So here's another one. Amazon has destroyed the lives of lots of little mom and pop retail stores. Amazon destroyed Barnes and Noble books almost completely. And so on and so on. So we do that. We foster that. Especially over here and over here. There's a lot of brain power in the United States that's always looking for new ways to improve life and business for Americans at home. And once they've figured out something that's really cool, they do it. And that typically destroys anything that was no longer cool or effective or productive. So when we do something like that, we share it with the rest of the world. Pretty much everybody around the world now, if they want to, they can have access. If you have internet, they can have access to Netflix. China operates very differently. I've told you it's a kleptocracy. Hello. Hello, Mary I am. Hello, Yvonne. I see you. I said hi to Michelle, and I said hi to Jackie. Thanks, guys, for visiting. So, okay, I gotta check something. Marv I am. Okay. Oh, that's Marv. Yeah, it's Marv. Hi, Marv. So, I can't remember. I did this before on the other show. It's the best of times. It was the worst of times. So right now, everything is very, very extreme. And everybody on Earth is dealing with it. And we have to deal with it. We're living, everyone who's alive today is living through this epochal moment in human history. This hasn't anything like this. I've never seen anything like this in the charts before, going back hundreds of years, perhaps even thousands of years. This is a monumental chapter in human history. 2020. We're living through it. We are witnesses. I'm living through it in my own version of the story. I feel like I am living through another remake of 1776. I feel that I was very much alive during the times of 1776, and I was on the receiving end of the betrayal and abuse by the federal government, and I didn't like it. I like my freedom. I like my privacy. I like my independence. I like rule of law. I like justice. I like having my day in court. I like the privilege of innocent until proven guilty. I like the right to bear arms in order to protect and defend myself from trespassers, intruders, invaders, including my government. If they are if they reach a certain point where it's no longer acceptable, the American population has the right to rise up and depose their government, if necessary, using arms. It's built into our Constitution. They can't do that in Australia. Look what's happening in Australia today, people. Do you want that to happen to America? I don't. Look what's happening in China. They can't protect and defend themselves. They're powerless. They're completely powerless. The people are powerless. Anyway, let me just go over here for a second. I just wanted to share the basics. Let me go over the basics again. I already talked about this. There are big bank runs going on in China. The Chinese Communist Party is blaming the customers, basically saying, well, there wouldn't be a run on the bank, dear customers, if you weren't running on the bank. So leave the banks alone. Everything's perfect. Everything's fine. But the public are starting to realize that the Chinese banks are very corrupt and not as healthy as they might seem. I've already talked about the Libra-Aries axis and how it's hyper-stressed right now, and that's a direct hit on China. It's making it very, very hard for China to be China. It's very hard for the Chinese Communist Party to basically bully and thuggerize and abuse China, but they're trying it. Over in South China, there's a lot of dams. Huge dams just collapsed last night, and lots of flooding. It's continuous now, so there's more environmental, political, agricultural damage in China. They are freaking desperate. China is freaking desperate right now for food and resources. The other things I mentioned earlier, like the stock market. Over the last couple of days, Apple just lost 20%. That's a huge crash, okay? It'll recover because the Fed will keep printing money. Gold and silver crashed. So these are signs of extreme volatility. These things will recover. And the last thing I wanted to mention over here on this list is this little tiny thing here. You might not have heard of this, Kraken. Okay? Kraken is what's called a cryptocurrency exchange. They're big and they operate as a cryptocurrency exchange. You might have heard of things like Bitcoin. You might have heard of Coinbase, or what other things? Ethereum. All these things to do with alternative currencies, okay? And they came into existence because there's a lot of people on Earth right now who are terrified of the financial collapse of the United States and the financial implosions in America. It's how it's going to affect them. So, for example, a lot of these countries here are deeply in stress right now financially, especially Venezuela and Argentina. They're highly stressed right now because of what's happening between China and America, because of what's happening inside of America with Americans. Almost every country in China, in Africa, is being heavily impacted in negative ways by our behavior over here with our dollars and our federal banking and our currencies. Okay? It's affecting India. It's affecting China. It's affecting Europe. The European Central Bank, they do the euros, They have no other option right now except to copy the United States and print more money. Because if they don't print money, their currency will become too valuable and their exports will become too expensive to the rest of the world. So we are in this currency war. It's already here. It's starting to build up and it's going to get ugly. I think America is already in the early stages of a huge currency war that I believe is going to extend perhaps for the next several years. It's going to get really, really ugly, and there will come a point where the United States dollar will implode. It will collapse. It will collapse. So you have to start to think, where do you want to be when the American dollar collapses? Because it's going to have a shockwave across the rest of planet Earth. I'm looking at 2023. So, in the meantime, what happened? Some very smart people figured out, I want honest money. So they created this thing called Bitcoin. And that was like 8 years ago. And here we are today where Bitcoin is being used all over the world. And they are usually exchanged through these places called exchanges. Kraken is one of these exchanges. And guess what? Kraken has now been granted permission by the United States Office of the Comptroller of the Currencies to operate as a bank in the United States of America at the federal level. Okay? This is an historical thing that happened, was it late last week, early this week? Kraken is now a bank. It's the first of its kind in the world, an official crypto bank that can do custody of crypto coins, things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and whatever, and at the same time operate in the traditional federal fiat currency world. So it's a hybrid. So this is a mind-boggling development in American financial history. This tiny piece of news has changed history for America. And there will be more banks like this coming up in the near future. So I see this as very, very good news because I'm very interested in protecting my money and my privacy and myself. So I'm starting to study and learn about these things. We will never actually fully get rid of the Federal Reserve and fiat money in some way that we know it now. So we have to find a way to operate in, let's say, in harmony. It's very difficult to do because, well, why? Honest money is the enemy of fake money. Okay? Gold is honest money. Silver is honest money. Hard assets are honest money. Like if you own your house, you own a valuable piece of property, you own a beautiful work of art, and it has solid, tangible value. You own, let's say, intellectual properties. Let's say you designed something really cool and you get royalties. Let's say you're a pop star like I wanted to be and I had a hit record. I would collect royalties. That's intellectual property. That's highly valuable property. Okay? So all those things are very valuable. I like hard assets. I like to own my money. All the money that is issued to you in America in terms of your dollar bills and your coins, that's fake money. Those are just IOUs from the federal government. By printing all this money over here, they are devaluing your dollar to the point where it's going to be worthless. We're basically doing what Venezuela is doing, what Zimbabwe was doing, what Lebanon, Turkey, Cyprus was doing, and other countries. When they can't cope, they just keep printing more and more and more and more money, hoping and praying that people will believe it. It's worth something. But eventually, the population figures out this money is worthless. No one else will take it around the world. Have you ever tried exchanging a Zimbabwe dollar for an American dollar? It's not going to happen. There's nothing. Okay? Venezuela has pretty much switched almost everything over to Bitcoin. There's a country over here, I believe it's Moldova. They've switched everything to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Over here in Estonia, they're doing everything digitally already. Everything. They're not very concerned about privacy because they don't have a lot of privacy to begin. It's almost like a Russian country. But they're very egalitarian, they're very smart. They decided, well, let's do everything by numbers. I am now just a number, and all of my money goes through this digital currency. So that's going to change the whole world. I guarantee in about 23 years from now, 24 years from now, the whole of planet Earth will be radically different in terms of money, government, and politics opportunity. Okay? It's starting now, but the real start, we're in the birth canal right now. Okay? But the real action is going to start in 2021 when Jupiter goes into Aquarius, and then Saturn goes into Aquarius, and then a few years later Pluto goes into Aquarius. Jupiter and Saturn will move on. But when Pluto goes into Aquarius, oh my God, there's going to be revolution, okay? Revolution about we the people, we want what is right for the people. So I believe there are going to be amendments to the American Constitution, like in 1780 something. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's massive technological evolutions that especially affect global trade, commerce, and banking, making the whole concept of wealth much more of an egalitarian thing. But that's a very long prophecy. I'm kind of prophesying things right now, okay? That's just my opinion. But you could just say they're my opinions. Let me go back over here. So those are the main things I wanted to chat with you about today. It's just a list of little things. There's always tons of stuff going on, and I miss everything because I don't really watch a lot of news. I cherry pick a few things that I'm interested in, and I like to follow up on them. I tend to focus on really big things and try to translate them down into ways that I can understand them in little simple nuggets. I don't worry too much about the machinations that go on in the day-to-day politics. I'm interested in the big stuff. And I want to be on the right side of the equation. I do not want to be a victim of the Federal Reserve or the federal government. So, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to leave you with a meditation video. It's out there on YouTube. I should be able to share it with you. And it lasts about 18 minutes. And you know, the thing that you're going to see has been going on since the dawn of mankind, is when people realized that they have healing power in their hands. And so I'm kind of involved in that world because I wouldn't be alive today without the healing hands of other people who came to me and helped me through energy healing. So I thought I would share something with you, and it's a really good visual depiction. And it takes about 18 minutes, so I'm just going to use that as the way to play out the video today. And then if you're not interested, you can just, get on with your day. But I'm going to run it for about 18 minutes. And then when it's done, I'll switch off the show. So if you want to recapture anything from the show, you can obviously watch the action replays and rewinds. Let me do this quickly. Where is it? I just want to do this, kind of make it sound like it's official. Damn it, I had it all set up. As you can tell, I'm really highly organized. I guess I'm not. Anyway, I wanted to show the welcome page. This is the Astro Doodle for today. This is the energy that's affecting the whole of Earth. Each one of us as individuals, and each one of us in the countries where we live. And this is affecting every nation on Earth, okay? And it's affecting planet Earth, okay? Especially with the Uranus and Taurus energy over here. Next thing I shared with you all was my notes. We've already done that. Okay, I shared my notes. And the next thing I shared with you is my little chart for China. So I was hoping to illustrate how China is being impacted by this, okay? This is also impacting America, but the theme of the show today is that this is impacting China. Okay? And I was trying to give you a storyline about China that has a very beautiful glossy side, a very kind, sweet aura at first impressions, like they really want what's best for you, but you discover very quickly it's built on a highly abusive formula. Okay? Pluto and Mars together over here in Leo in the 7th house. Open enemies. The Chinese Communist Party is the open enemy of the people. Okay? So I'll share that with you guys. I'm going to leave it like this. Actually, I'm going to leave it like this. I don't know if anyone's got any questions. I'd be happy to answer 1 or 2 questions if I can. Otherwise, I will go off and set everything up for that little video for you. So let me go over here. Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to set it up over here. Hold on, I'm just setting up the meditation. So, hold on, before I do that. The reason I want to show you this little video about meditation is because they do a really, really good, like a little graphic illustration of the things that I try to share with you, especially in private meet with the world. It's a very powerful force. It's actually the healing power of love. You can actually own the healing power of love and then transmit the healing power of love. Okay? It's real. I know it sounds crazy, but to me it's real, because I have received it and I have offered it. Okay? Okay, so I don't see any questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch over to the video now and get it set up and running for you. Let's see if I can do that. I have to, first of all, come back over here. Here we go. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so you're going to see this guy. It's from this guy called Master Stephen Coe. And I've worked with some of his people, and he's kind of into this Asian stuff, but it's about 18 minutes. You'll see there on the screen it's about 18 minutes long. I'll show this to you and you can enjoy it, and then I will say farewell and bless you guys in your day. So if you want to, it takes time. You have to be kind of in a meditative frame of mind. So if you want to relax for the next 20 minutes, please enjoy this video. I'm going to play it now. It goes like this. Take care, everybody.
So be it. To facilitate the flow of energy throughout your body, please curl your tongue up to the roof of your mouth. Close your eyes and relax. Just tune into my voice. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale brilliant light through every part of your body. And exhale grayish, dirty energy out of your body. Inhale joy and love and peace.
I can assure you the visuals will be changing as you go through the video.
So and any negative emotion.
Hang in.
Now visualize a brilliant ball of light on top of your head. Imagine your body as an empty bottle. Visualize the brilliant light above your head opening, pouring liquid brilliant light to your crown, flooding your brain with brilliant light, the insides of your body with brilliant light, your heart, your lungs, your intestines, your liver, your spleen, your spine, your muscles, your bones with brilliant light. Imagine the brilliant light pushing down any impurities down, 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 and out of your feet and into the earth. Inhale and exhale down. Now visualize the ball of light on top of your head turning green. Imagine the green light pouring down your whole body on the inside. Imagine the brilliant greenish light cleansing, purifying any negative energies from any cell, any organ in your body and gently pushing it down out of your feet and into the earth. Inhale slowly and exhale any impurities down into the earth. Now visualize the ball of light on top of your head turning purple or violet. Imagine the violet light flowing through every pore, every cell, every tissue of your body, just flushing any remaining negative energies down, 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 and out of your feet and into planet Earth. Good. Inhale. Exhale down. Now be aware of the center of your chest. Imagine a beautiful flower, a beautiful rose in the center of your chest. Smile at this beautiful rose in the center of your chest. Visualize the face of a loved one inside the beautiful flower. Smile at this loved one. Tell them how much you love them, how much you care for them. And be still. Now about 2 feet in front of you, visualize the planet Earth the size of a baseball. From this beautiful rose in the center of your chest, I would like you to gently radiate beautiful pinkish light towards the earth and embracing it. I want you to share the love that's within your heart for this loved one to every person, every creature on the beautiful planet Earth. And gently follow me with a very simple, a very universal prayer. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Bless every person, every creature on the beautiful earth with love and with peace. Especially nations that are at war. Your friends, your loved ones, they're not getting along. Bless them with peace. Bless them with love. Where there is injury, let me sow pardon. Think of all the people that have hurt you. Just bless them with the spirit of forgiveness. Where there is doubt, let me sow faith. Where there is despair, let me sow hope. Think of the loved ones that you have that are going through hard times. Bless them with a new hope that things will improve. Visualize them rising out of their problems, feeling good about themselves, and succeeding in whatever they're doing. Where there is darkness, let me sow light. When there is sadness, let me sow joy. Visualize every person you meet every day smiling with happiness and with great joy. Now inhale gently. Lift the sensation from the center of your chest up, 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 up to the top of your head on your crown area. Now visualize a beautiful white lotus flower on top of your head. Just smile at it. See it open, revealing the face of somebody you respect very dearly. Could be a teacher, a saint, an angel, or an image of God to you. Either way, just project love, gratitude, and respect to this person. Be still and just be aware. Now from this beautiful white lotus flower, gently project a brilliant white light towards the planet Earth 2 feet in front of you. And just say from the heart of God, may every person, every being, every creature in the beautiful planet Earth be blessed with happiness, with joy, with peace, with goodwill, and especially the willingness to go out and do good. May every person, every creature be blessed with good health, happiness, joy, and spirituality. Now be still and just be aware. Now we will now simultaneously bless the earth from the heart and the crown energy centers symbolized by the rose and the lotus flower. Gently radiate golden light from your heart area and from the crown towards the beautiful planet Earth. And just silently say, from the center of the heart of God, through my heart and through my crown, may every person, every creature on the beautiful planet Earth be divinely blessed. Good health, with happiness, joy, and divine peace. May every person, every creature be blessed with loving kindness, with peace, inner peace, with healing, inner healing, with goodwill, and the willingness to do good. So be it. Just gently radiate golden light and see it illuminating every person, every creature on the beautiful planet Earth. And allow yourself to be a powerful, clear instrument of divine love, mercy, and compassion to this new world. Continue to bless the earth from your heart and your crown. Let the love that's within you, the peace that's within you, radiate to every person, every creature, anywhere and everywhere, all over the planet Earth. Now gently raise your awareness a few inches above your head and visualize a beautiful golden flame radiating brilliant golden light everywhere. In your mind's eye, try to sense the quality of this flame. Try to feel its vibration, its quality, and try to sense how this energy feels to you. Try to put your complete awareness on this beautiful golden flame. In your mind's eye, just look at that flame and that flame alone. Put your complete awareness on that flame and let go. let go. Just a flame. And let go. Let go. Let go. Let go. With your eyes still closed, slowly come back to your normal consciousness. Gently wiggle your fingers and your toes, and just try to be aware of your body. We will now release the excess energy we've generated. Just gently raise your hands facing forwards, with bent elbows, with the hands facing forwards. Visualize the earth in front of you again. Imagine brilliant light coming out of your hands. And just silently follow me. May every person, every being on earth, every creature on earth, a beautiful Mother Earth, be blessed with happiness, with great joy, with healing, inner healing, with prosperity and abundance, and spirituality. Bless your friends, your loved ones with good health, happiness, prosperity, and spirituality. Bless your job, your career with success, with advancement and progress. Just radiate tremendous amount of beautiful light towards the planet Earth and see it light up. And just say, may the earth be blessed with light, with love, and with power. May every person, every being, every creature, the beautiful planet Earth, be divinely blessed with happiness, joy, and peace. Now let's silently say a Thanksgiving prayer to the Supreme God, to all the holy angels, the holy teachers. Thank you for the light, the love, and the power. Especially thank you for the divine protection. We thank you. As we finish this meditation, gently open your eyes with a beautiful and wonderful smile. To help facilitate the assimilation of this healing energy in your body, for the next 5 minutes, please do some gentle stretching and some simple physical exercises. Thank you for joining us in this shortened version of the meditation on Twin Hearts. For more information on Master Choa Kok Sui's Pranic Healing course and or the full version of the meditation on Twin Hearts, please contact the person who gave you this tape.
So there we have it. I'm coming back here. Oh, everything's frozen. Sorry. My system froze. So give me a second. Anyway, so the reason I share that with you is because that's kind of how I try to conduct my life. I don't do it in such a glorious or let's say spiritual manner, but years ago when I was going through a lot of like advanced yoga stuff for my healing. It wasn't this particular place that I just showed you, which is the Pranic Healing Group or whatever it's called. I went to another place, and it was a very, very similar modality of teaching. And it's, I would say it was very powerful. It had an effect on my life, and I feel a lot of things the way it was depicted in that video. And it's actually doable. I mean, it sounds crazy when you look at the video and the graphics and the colors, but it's actually, I think it's a very effective, workable illustration of the sort of things that we do here on the channel regarding the healing power of love. Anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. Thanks everybody for hanging out here. I'm sorry that my my system has frozen, so I can't say goodbye properly, but we'll meet up again. I hope to see some of you on Sunday evening. It's been a pleasure. Hello, Ivona. Hello. It looks like you just arrived as the show is stopping, so it's available on the channel if you want to watch it. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to leave it at that now. I'm going to head out here in just a moment and say fare thee well, and just leave it like that. Bye bye everybody. Have a super day. Be aware, be aware, be aware, stay aware, get yourself aware, learn about thyself, know thyself. That's all about the pathway to love myself. It's easy for me to say it. It's a little harder to do. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yes.